All right. This is when I look at the comments. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Really excited to have you tonight. We are back for another hour of specialness, and I'm joined by three wonderful panelists from actually dialing from around the world. Melissa Corcaballo, how are you?
Hello, good.
Melissa, where are you joining from? Us from?
Currently from Wollongong, New South Wales, Australia, which is an hour south of Sydney.
All right, wonderful. And actually, I'm just you will do the proper introduction, but I love to while everybody's there. And actually, I'm asking everybody to drop where you're dialing from in the comment section, please, while we're doing the quick introduction from the other panelists. So, Rick Caballo, as well, you are joining us from.
Wollongong, Australia.
All right, and great to have you back. Thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us. And Michael, we have Michael.
See,
Michael, where are you joining us from?
I'm from Brentwood, just south of Nashville, Tennessee.
All right, lovely. All right, so you guys, you by now you should have heard me asking you where you're joining us from. We're very excited about this session. Before I pass the microphone to those wonderful panelists, I wanted to make a couple of announcements. As you know, if you received the email to join us today after this session, we're going to all hang out on our Discord. If you're not on our Discord yet, you're missing out a lot. So make sure you join us. The link should be in the invitation, and we'll drop the link as well during the live stream. Also, next week, we're introducing our new series, which is the artist and producer AMA, and we have the pleasure to welcome Maria Elisa Ayerbe, which you have seen running panels and masterclasses at Music Expo in the past. But this time, we're going to have a real talk with her about how to be an upcoming and successful producer in the music business. And she's going to tell us about her new gig as she's the host of a new TV show on HBO Latino. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So make sure you sign up and get a chance. I'm going to ask her any type of questions, but it won't be around specific plugins that she likes. I want to learn more about how she got there, where she is today, coming from Colombia and actually attending class in audio school in Nashville, and now being someone working between LA and Miami. So without further ado, I want to pass it to Melissa, who's going to do actually a proper introduction, and I'm going to take a back seat. So you guys.
Thank you, Loic. Thank you so much for having us. And so I'm going to start with Michael. So Michael, thanks for joining us today. And
My pleasure.
Everybody that needs to know who Michael Blanton is. So I refer to you as the Amy Grant guy.
That's perfect.
That's perfect,
That's
right?
perfect. Yep.
So Michael's responsible for really Amy Grant's career and managing and developing and taking her to that next level. And you're also the co-founder of Songwriting University, which is an amazing platform that gives anybody the opportunity to work and write with some of the top songwriters around the world and be mentored by them. And you launched that program just about a year and a half ago now, right?
That's correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
Very well.
So we're so thrilled to have Michael in the house.
Thank you.
Phil. And then we have Rick Caballo. I know this guy pretty well. So co-founder of Dead Horse Branding, art director of Dead Horse Branding, and responsible for all of our clients' brands from Steven Tyler's band, Loving Mary, to we're working with the Hendrix family right now, which is awesome. The Bo Diddley. So excited about that one.
They're
New clients that we're thrilled about, but Rick's behind everything, branding, visual arts, brand development. So thanks for being here, Rico.
Thank you. And just want to wish Michael happy 30 years. Do you feel old now that Amy Grant's 30 years ago today, or this week, wasn't it?
This month we released her that Heart in Motion album. So
worldwide
I don't feel very old, actually. I feel pretty hip with both of you. I'm kind of wedged in with both of you guys. I feel pretty hip. So.
All right, cool.
And that's when you guys were nominated for your Grammys as well, for a few of them.
Now there was that album had 5 top 20, 4 top 10 singles on pop radio, and she was nominated for 5 pop Grammys for Album of the Year, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Producer of the Year with Keith Thomas, and then she was also in the pop female vocal category. So 5 pop category nominations in 1992. The album came out in 91, so 30 years ago. So the Grammys.
Amazing. This is a big week for you. So Michael's going to be in a fair kind of press, everyone. So we're very thrilled to have him here today. And shout out to Keith Thomas because he wrote and produced Baby Baby, right?
He did. That's correct. That is correct.
Yeah, which is amazing. I knew he produced it, and then he like rambled off one day that he wrote it, and I was like, "Excuse me, what? That's not small."
Well, when we made that album, we just finished a huge project called Lead Me On, and it did not receive the pop success that we thought it would. So Amy said, "You need to make the pop album on me that you really think I need to do." And I said, "Okay, well then I'm going to open the door to multiple producers." But what I did is I really went to people that were great track builders and said, "I need tracks." So they gave me tracks, and Keith gave me the track and the kind of the melody for Baby Baby, and I took that to Amy and said, "Okay, this could be a huge hit song." And not to get stuck in the weeds on this, it's kind of weird. I know we're talking about Grammy branding, but as that album was finishing and we were ready for that to be we thought it'd be the first single, Keith and I, Jerry Moss, who's was the president of A&M, he and Herb Alpert started A&M Records. He wanted to pull that song off the album. So I was in a complete panic. I was going, okay, you can't pull this song off the album. And I immediately tried to get Aretha Franklin to sing a duet with her on Baby Baby, because I said, if Aretha sings it, they will not take this off the album. Wow. And while Aretha was receiving the song, Mark Mazzetti, who was head of radio promotion, took the mix that Keith had been working on, sent that to a big San Diego pop radio station, and it just blew up. So we never did get Aretha, but she saved the song because she was going to record it later, and but never quite got there. But anyway, that's a little behind the stories.
What a story. And what great timing for branding for the Grammys. I mean, It was 30 years ago that you were up for Grammys, and so here we are. So I think we're going to jump right into it. We had a really fantastic amount of bands and artists that submitted their profiles to us for this kind of branding on the spot with the Music Expo. And so we apologize we can't get to everybody, but we did pick our top 3 that we would love to discuss. So we're going to get straight into it. And I'm actually going to share my screen so everybody can check out what is going on.
Have we got any of those entrants online in the comment section?
Yes, that is a fantastic question. What I'm going to do is just make this smaller so I can actually see all the comments too, which would be great. But here we are. Do we have in the house tonight, do we have the Esther Music Project? Because that is one we are going to be talking about. Do we have Esther? Well, either way, we will kick off with the Esther Music Project. So cool name, right, guys? I was really intrigued by the name.
Indeed. I mean, it's straight from the Old Testament of the Bible. So it's a great book in the Bible called Esther. But I'm confused about how to put it all together and what their intent was and where they're going with this, because it kind of feels like it's got a religious overtone, but on the same side, I'm not sure that was the plan. If it's the assurance, I'm trying to figure out how to put that together. So it would be great to hear some comments of the original designers and what they were intending.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I feel stupid that I didn't even know that. So I'm glad Michael's here.
I'm old enough. I'm just an old enough guy who would know that.
Well, no. Then the other thing too, if they are going for that religious audience, that demographic, is that a purpose thing? Because you're going to lose maybe 50% of the audience. So therefore, knowing that, could you be more commercial to get 100% of the audience as well? So something to think about.
That's the power. It's an incredible story about the power of a woman and what she did in a foreign country. I mean, so it's a very Jewish strong story from a Jewish heritage, but the story of her being a woman, being the queen, eventually becoming the queen, and what she did is pretty powerful. Assurance would have been, I don't know if assurance would have been the word I would have used as much as, I mean, her confidence or her demeanor and strength as a woman in presenting this story is pretty powerful. But I don't know if that's what the Esther Music Project was about. If it's meant to be, I mean, the music almost has a film score background feel to it as opposed to an artistic statement that they're trying to make. So I'm very intrigued with it as well, trying to go, where are we going with this? What was the plan? Because to your point, it could get lost in the crack between people who pick up on the religious side and then people who don't have a clue, and then it's kind of lost in between.
Yeah. And Rick, what do you think about the whole, so the Instagram handle is the Esther Music Project, but then the website is getassurance.org. Talk to us about that.
Well, and again, we're sort of coming on this cold for this reason, so we don't dig too much into it, so we can get our first reactions. Getassurance.org. I do not know what that means. I feel like I want to get some insurance for my health insurance or car insurance. I know it's not insurance, but that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. So I think it's, if the project is the Esther Music Project, then that should be the handle and the domain name.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's a long name as well, like theestherproject.com. And then you got to think if you're going to be an email, it's going to be info@theestherproject.com. So, I mean, always for this sort of stuff, short and sweet to the point is the best. Keep all your handles the same, so it's across the board. The branding is solid. You don't have to, because I'm not going to, if I went and watched this play, I'm not going to go home and go insurance.com. You know what I mean? I'm just going to go theestherproject.com.
And I think from my point of view too, being, one of the main people on your team that would sell you, right? I obviously get to the Instagram and I'm like, okay, there's something funky going on. Obviously, Queen's in the name. I'm like, all right, I want to give this a whirl. I don't really know what the project is straight off. I had to dig a fair bit, which I don't like to do. And it turns out that the Queen Esther Project seems to be a bit of a composer and a trumpet player. She's got a big love for throwback vibes and old movies, which I got through some of these posts. I don't get to see her head much. And if it is a her, I'm assuming it is. So that for me is really, really tough. And then when I jump on over to the website, I mean, I still don't know what artist I'm dealing with. I have a ton of merch, but the whole message is being dropped and lost, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, one of the posts that she or he, whoever they did, they asked who's the cousin of Esther down at the bottom, down in her post, and of course that was, anybody who's read that story would know it was Mordecai. But I'm trying to go, are you trying to go with the story? Because all of your graphics really look like they're trying to go into a separate, they're really trying to tell, it's Esther, it's more the name and the idea, and then it's trying to create more of a video, kind of a film score attitude, as opposed to I'm really dealing with the story.
Yep. I would definitely agree. So I think we can all agree that this particular brand, I'm going to come back to my main screen for a minute. I think we can all agree that there's too little of this brand. There's way too little, too much digging around. We don't even really know what the whole project's about. So information is key. You obviously need to have that message very strong from the start all the way through for successful promotion and return on investment. And to Rick's point as well, if you're going to sort of be in this Christian lane, which is absolutely amazing and fantastic to do, then just understand that that's the lane that you are in. But yeah, it would be great to learn more about this.
Some some of the greatest stories, and you don't have to be religious or into religion to love it, like the Ten Commandments, all those great movies from the day. They're very commercial. You don't have to be religious to love it. So I would suggest also notice a donate button there. So I would say strip everything back. Strip everything back. Get that solid key story down before you can start people to donate. Because people might want to donate, but they're like, well, I don't know what this is.
Right.
So if they could strip that back, get the message very focused and narrow focused, then build upon that.
Yeah, and I think it was the Esther Music Project. To your point, that feels like build on that. Just build on Esther, the Esther Music. I don't know if you need to have, like you said, the long Esther Music Project Part 2. Hope to see you in paradise. But I think it's almost like really concise, your title, your name. The amount of branding that they have on their merchandise was also confusing. It was very cluttering to me. I was like, I have no idea why I would want the tree over the hooded, the girl. And there was nothing to the story that was strong enough for me to go, why are there 1,000 merchandise pieces here? So I agree with you. Just declutter the whole thing and get to one brand name.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Like people they're gonna buy merch after experiencing what they've experienced. We can't.
That's right.
So I haven't experienced anything yet. You've got more merch than the actual product. So if they can flip that around, declutter, as you say, and I think that they'll be on track.
And Moses, I see that you're online and you're actually up next. So just hang on a tick because we're going to jump into your brand. But to answer a quick question from Ill Exotic, so would you say that's something more important to focus on deliberately in their bio or their Instagram post at a glance? I think for the Esther Project brand and for brands overall, you have to be deliberate in everything that you do, from the verbiage to the images to the message to the type of post you're posting, to Michael's point, the type of merch that you have. And it has to be consistent, or you're going to have people like us in the industry looking at your brand and your artistry and going, I don't get it. And the second that I don't get it, I switch off and I go to the next person.
Very true.
And that's the only amount of time you have to impress someone. And so if you can't get it right in that first 10 seconds.
Yeah. And I would go even further to say that, the picture tells 1,000 words. So as soon as you land, I want to get this information. Forget verbiage. Let's forget verbiage. Just visually, when I land somewhere, I want to go, got it. Then the verbiage and the explanation is more. And then you wouldn't do a big bio like 10 pages long, just some key headline points that you just soak in that information really quick, and then you get it. Start going through the website and you start, spoon feeding information bits here and there, because there's nothing worse than landing somewhere and just going, what the hell am I looking at?
Yeah,
exactly.
Where are we?
All right, we're on to Moses. And just to give everybody a heads up, in case some more people are watching that submitted their brands, we are going to be jumping into Card Club next. So Card Club, if you're out there, definitely chime in and comment. But Moses, you are up next. So I'm going to share my screen so we can look at some of Moses Bruno.
Where's Moses from? Can you send us a little comment?
I was going to ask the same thing. Where is he from?
Actually saying he's from...
I thought he was from Sweden, right?
He just said that he's from Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Oh. You got it.
It's cold there right now.
Right. Here's Moses. So we'll go to Moses' Instagram.
There is a slight delay on this, Moses. So if you want to send us some comments, just know that we're 10 seconds behind.
Right. So straight away, it's going to be in a language that I don't understand. And that's okay if you're pitching to your market and to everybody in your language. But if you want to pitch outside of that, it does become a bit of an issue. So straight up, I look at Instagram, Moses, and I think you're not an artist. I think you're just somebody out there playing around. I don't jump into music straight away. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I got a little bit on, and probably going to say this wrong. Is it Moss Prairies? And to me, the first thing that I thought when I saw the title, I was kind of going, okay, is this Moses being, and this music is a representative of a diary. It's really, it's not so much of an artist, but more of maybe an art form where he's really has a diary that he's actually trying to create music from his diary, from his journal. And I wondered about the name. If that's not the case, then I would almost go, well, you got to explain that to me, or we need a better name to grab people beyond Moss Prairies. And so, like I said, I'm probably butchering the saying of that, but that jumped out at me.
Well, Michael, I love that you interpret it like that, and I think that if he's not doing that, that he should, because that's cool. But Rick, how do you feel about from the visual perspective of Moses's Instagram?
Well, I'm a little lost on what he's doing. Is this his professional page? Is this his personal page? I think he's got some cool shots of him like peppered through there. Like the first shot at the very top, he's almost got a Ziggy Marley feel with the military jacket, and got a guitar player next to him. And then we got the next one where it looks like he just left court and with the mask on.
Did he win or did he lose?
I hope he won. And if you scroll down,
let's see what he said. Oh, he didn't say anything, but he's got emoji, so I guess he won.
Okay, well, and again, I'm having a light-hearted fun here, but I'm just trying to gather what the story is in the food. You know, what's the story? Like, can you click on? You probably can't read it anyway. So this is the other thing. If you're not going to explain what this is, it's going to be hard for me to, like I said, fill in the blanks of the story, because branding is your identity, and what does that mean to who you are as a person? You know, he's wearing. I like this shot of him in the studio singing, because it really tells me, oh, okay, he's an artist of some sort, songwriter, recording. Thank you, song recording session at studio in Murray B. Byrne.
Yep.
So that's cool. If you're gonna go music, I would post a lot more stuff like this on there.
Perfect. And just to see if Moses is making any comments. Moss Prairie's artist name, indie artist. Yes. Switzerland. Yes. Right.
Personally, I think there was a kind of a very eclectic, cool vibe to his music. However, I would suggest that he take the vibe of his music and introduce other vocalists into the mix. I think if you kept the vibe and enhanced it with some other male-female duet vocals singing some of his kind of eclectic, it would actually be a really refreshing new, wow, we haven't heard that. And it would really jump out a bit more. Not that because I don't think vocally is going to be the win for you as much as the sound. The sound of what you're creating is so cool. It's such a cool vibe and very infectious. But I think it would actually broaden to have some other voices mixed into it, or let a killer female sing one of your songs and deliver that same song. So that's a suggestion.
I think that's great. And we got a great question or comment in from Diana Moon. She says, or he says, you never know, I always believe as a content creator to just have one Instagram, one Twitter, because my identity is my brand. Would it be better to separate my personal from professional, or just make it more cohesive? I'm definitely going to in, and I mean, to Michael's point, it definitely has to be separate. But to even go one step further, I find it very hard to have a personal and a business account for things. We're on so many different social media platforms. There's so many new ones arising. My advice to all of our acts, ones we represent, ones we don't, is that just have one. Just have one. Unless you honestly need such a personal account just to be with friends and family or whatever, which then I would suggest a shared photo stream. But if you have one, it's more energy concentrated into one. When you have two, it's double the thinking, double the planning, double the everything. And let's be honest, your professional brand and platform should be 24/7. It should be the only thing you're putting all your time and energy into. So that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, my take would be, okay, let's just say you put out a piece of product and all of a sudden you've got 10 million people following you. There's a loss of privacy the minute that happens. And I think as much as we want authenticity, we want these artists, yes, show us your life. That brand of what you are needs to be so strategic that what I'm showing you on my social media is about my artist brand. But it may not be best to show me your kids and your family, your grandmother at Thanksgiving. I may not need to see that to really buy into your brand.
You sure? I really want to show you my grandmother.
I'm going to buy into yours. I'm buying into yours. But at the same time, I just go, obviously we don't want to, but there are times to have more of a pseudo name for your family that you're not going to be run over and chased by every kind of fan that's now fallen into with your music. So I can see separate lanes.
Yeah, and for that comment, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree with Michael.
So should we, has Moses got any questions? I think let's go to his website and have a look what he's got going on.
Let's take you over to his website. So I'll show my screen one more time.
And Moses, if you're listening, please comment and let us know if you got any questions. Help you in real time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because there's a lot of questions I would ask in these meetings. It'd be like, what's your favorite color? What's your demographic that you're aiming for? What style of songs do you write? All that sort of stuff. We've had a listen, but I'd like to hear it from the actual artist himself, you know. And is there a big market for that music in Switzerland, or are you going for music in America or Australia? You know, what's the story?
Yeah, I found on spot.
Sorry, Michael,
go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say I listened to 2 songs of his on Spotify, and I found them to be uniquely different. The first one was like a rough home recording, almost like just a personal. It's just a personal free form. The second song actually had more construct to it, and I was very intrigued with just the vibe of the music, and was going, "That's okay. How did you make that? Because that's different than what you did on the first song." So that would be one question I'd want to talk to you about, Moses.
So obviously,
sorry, Rick.
Yeah, obviously in that case, less is more. So if you've got 100 songs on Spotify and they all suck or they're all different, just do a small group of collective of songs that are great and that are cohesive to one another. So we get a sense of brand. Before you go to hip hop, let's nail down the sound. Until you can get that credibility, you can't start switching genres and sounds so frequently.
Well, the first one felt more like a demo, and it was, and I mean, I can see Moses going, I'm just thrilled to get it up on Spotify. But on the other hand, it's got less than 1,000 listens. And Moses, at that point, it's not really building your brand. It's not really building your artistic statement. The second one does a little better job of that. And I would go back to the studio, because you're obviously starting to discover some things about your voice and recording that you should lean into, is what I would say.
So I'm going to come back to my main screen and hang out with everyone while we have this question from Moses, who he submitted this when he submitted his brand. He wanted more endorsements and more sponsorships and that type of things. And the best advice for you, Moses, is build your brand. There isn't one yet. And all these links that you've provided us, you're on a ton of different platforms, but not one platform actually expresses or explains your brand properly or your artistry properly. The 2 links that you sent, the bands one and the other gigs one, the gigs one's empty, so delete it. And the bands one, don't need it. Get your domain name, build your website, build your profile. You can't have a successful career without a foundation, and your website is going to be your foundation. It is the house that builds you. So get rid of Twitter. Get rid of all these other ones that you're not even utilizing or maximizing. Build your brand properly on your website, and then start to look at ways to promote yourself. But you can't even promote yourself yet, Moses, because you haven't built the brand yet. So please keep concentrating on building that brand.
And I would say to Moses as well is like, find a cohesive identity, whatever that is. And a question I would ask is, what would you be doing if you weren't doing music? And let's say I love food. Okay, if you base your brand around food somehow, musically, then you can go for endorsements relating to food. Or if you're
True.
into,
Good
I don't
input.
know, swimming or whatever it is, lock down your brand so you can go, I'm going to go get a towel endorsement or a swimwear endorsement or whatever it is. So you have traction there and you have a cohesive alliance with someone that you're going to approach. But if you're going to approach people just willy-nilly and very broad, then you're not going to have much success. And they won't be able to see a return on investment. If they gave you something, what do they get in return?
I'm just reading some more comments, and you know, all the social media platforms, and from Loic here, he's commenting on the social media platforms, and he's like, keep Twitter, Twitter's great, save Twitter. So yeah, and again, whatever brand your social media platform is good for, some are great for Twitter, some are great for Instagram, some aren't good for Facebook. So always make sure that your brand is really set upon the right social media channels for you. But Loic, I've got to say, I was never really a Twitter fan, and we all know where Rick stands on social media. Big non-fan of social media ever since I met this guy.
Too much work.
Too much work. Lucky you got a team. So Diana, you're welcome. No problem at all. We really hope that helps your question. Then we have another comment from Charith. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The Aussie accent sometimes throws me. But he's saying, or she's saying, sorry, the pictures are really little. What would you do if you were two separate personas? Say an artist and a coach. So obviously you're an artist and a coach. Would you keep the brands separate or try to combine the two? Michael, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't want to act like that it's cool to be double-minded or double-talked, but I do think when you're talking about being an artist, I would focus on the artist as just your one lane of your personal statement. Don't try to. If you're a great coach, then people are going to go, "Oh, she's a coach," or he's a coach, but they're not going to give you credit for your music. Let your music in the early stages be about your music. Don't try to cram everything in there to make us try to digest it all. I'd rather just take what you're doing musically and love it or not, and begin to build a fan base around it. Let your coaching be your main thing that you do to pay the bills and you love and take care of your family. But being the artist, focus on the artist. And so that's conflicting a little bit with you, Mel, with what we said a minute ago. But I kind of think there's wisdom for that.
Yeah. And Rick, how would you answer it?
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't say it's a hard one, but it's a complicated one, because you need to focus, like Michael was saying before, your energy into this one channel. But at the same time, right now, probably the coaching is what's paying the bills. So, I mean, I got a friend he's the artist on one platform, and then on the weekends he's playing shitty covers gigs to make money on the other form under a completely different name under the radar, which is fine too. Right. But it just requires a lot more organization and management. But yeah, I mean,
there's Rick, what you usually, I'm going to chime in on you, Rick, because what Rick usually does when we come to this is you usually come up with a fantastic way to merge the two. Right. Now, it's getting a level deeper, but it's coming into a very big business strategy, which kicks off with what's making you more money. Is your coaching making you more money, or is the artistry making you more money? Because mine is going to be that way first.
And here's the problem that lies for singing teaching. And I guess he's talking about singing teaching, right, or music teaching. Yes, because what happens is if you became a vocal coach and you're full-on great vocal coach, but you were struggling as an artist, does your clientele go, well, hang on, you can't even make it in the artist world and you're teaching me how to sing? But then on the other hand, you got those that can do and those that can't teach. That's the other thing. So it's tough because you want to be careful, because if you're an artist trying to make it, your students, you don't want them to surpass you, or you might have a student that does surpass you and becomes famous and looks and goes, well, you're giving me singing lessons and you suck. Well, you don't suck, but the world says you suck. So it's a careful balance.
So just to sum up, Michael comes from the position of, look, if you're an artist, then that should be 100% focused on, and that should be your brand, and that should be the path you go in. If you want to be a coach, great, do it elsewhere, but your artistry needs to shine through first and foremost. And I think we can all agree that even if you were to do both at the same time, something has to be higher. Something has to be, this is what I am first and foremost. Oh, and you can hire me to be a coach. But to Rick's point, what if you're not a successful artist? What if you're not doing very well in the artist realm? Is anyone going to hire you to be their coach? Is one thing hurting the other? Back to Michael's point, separate them.
And if we flip it again, let's say they are a great artist, then they're going to get great students. So,
the part of it is, if it's a vocal coach, if we're going that way, and then that's your primary, then make that the big thing. Don't make any big deal about being an artist. Put your music up as it's just my hobby, and let people discover you rather than you try to tell them that you're an artist. So the way I interpreted that question was somebody saying, I am an artist and I am a coach, and I'm going, that's not going to work. You either, if you're the coach, then sneak your music out there like, hey, I was at home, I made this song last night, and let me just play for you, and let people react and go, that is a killer song. That is a great artistic. Let them discover you as an artist rather than you trying to wave the banner at that point. Yeah,
exactly. So to Michael and Rick's point, I would jump on their bandwagon and say, yes, whatever you're better at, and that better at you would assume is making you the most money. So that's your number one. You build that, then you do what Michael said. You throw out a song, you throw out something small on the side, social media. Oh, wow, what an amazing song you cut. You can't release yourself into the marketplace and promote yourself on all these different platforms at the same level. You just can't. Right. You don't have enough credibility, enough time, money to do that. And people can't take it in. They physically can't take all that information in. But I can tell you that if Carrie Underwood started a vocal coaching school tomorrow, that we'd all go there.
Yeah.
She's proven, she's done. Now it's a no-brainer to do that. And then if you've got a fantastic vocal coach, like there are so many around the world, it makes sense once they've built that and they've established that. Oh, they released an album. They released a song. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And I would say if you do get your artistry up to a level where it's like even a B level where you're making money, you're touring, I would change coaching to mentoring. You know, it takes the edge off it, and you're sort of helping, you're sort of giving back to the community at the same time you're making some cash. So that's my 2 cents. It's a difficult one that a lot of people face.
It's a loaded question because we don't know the level and the skill set of that question. So these strategies aren't like one answer per every person. They change. Like if Michael was to say to me, hey, Mel, you know, I'm going to open up a management firm. Would that be smart with my songwriting university company? I'd say, hell yeah, you built Amy Grant. By the way, he has a management firm. So if anyone's looking at getting signed, check out Michael Blanton. So that plays into Michael's brand, and he's at the top of the top. So it makes sense. So all those things we need to think about. We have a really great question from, sorry, we've got a couple. I need to back up a little bit. I believe it was Diana who was saying, is it super important to have a website? Rick.
Yes. And Michael's heard me say this a million times. Who remembers Facebook? Not Facebook, MySpace. Anyone remember that? We spent a lot of our time on there uploading stuff and all our assets and gathering all these contacts and putting all our stuff up. And then all of a sudden, Facebook came along, MySpace gone. Same as with Facebook, same as with Instagram. They own your assets. It sucks, you know. So it's super important to own your own website. You own it for the rest of your life. If, like Donald Trump wanted to shut TikTok down a little while ago, if that happened, then what? What happened then? So Own your own IP and own your own destiny. Control it.
Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think the website is your core brand descriptor. And I think it doesn't have to be, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to make it fancy. It can be clearly a page with a video. I think you need YouTube as much as you probably need the website. So the YouTube is going to be me going, oh, who is this artist? And then I'm going to go to YouTube and see if they posted anything. And I'm probably going to make a judgment on you with a 3-minute, 2-minute video of you either talking or singing or doing something very much at home. And I'll decide, I think you've either got talent and I'm going to get behind you. But I may go back. I'm always going to go back to your website for the brand. That's going to be showing me the way you think graphically, the way you think just of your brand.
Yeah.
So I just want to just add on to that. Without your website, people are going to go to Google and go, okay, that information, that video, this here, oh, they went to jail, blah, blah, blah. And they make up their own mind about you and who you are.
True.
So your website is your home, like Michael says. You narrate the story. You tell people what you want to see. You put your best stuff forward.
Agreed.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to get geeky on you all and talk about analytics. So social media keeps changing its analytical database and the way that you perceive its analytics, and they control your analytics. Like, honestly, they allow you to see what they want you to see, and they can change that at any given point. Your website is going to house your analytics. So you know, hey, I've got a ton of people coming on my website from Texas. I should reach out to an agent in Texas because I can tell them I have all this traffic and I should start touring more down there. Or you tell your publicist, hey, I've got a lot of traction in Texas. Get me magazines in Texas. Build me up where the people are telling you and the fans are telling you that they want to see you. So from an analytical standpoint, your website controls everything that's going to make a return on investment for you.
And you're piggybacking your social media with your website, and you look at the analytics. Okay, we had a spike on May 1st. On this day, what did we do? We toured? No. We went, I posted something stupid on Facebook. Okay, so let's do more of that stuff. So you track everything together with your website, social media, YouTube, all that stuff.
Yeah, but even Google, right? Google is our world. Google is our life. So if I'm looking for a band, I'm not going to try and find them in Instagram, find them on Facebook. What's their handle? This one's similar. I doubt you're going to have branded consistency on every profile. So I Google. And if you use your website right and you use your search engine optimization in your blogs and everything right, you're going to pop up. Your platform's going to pop up first on Google, and then we don't have to spend 10 minutes trying to find you on social platforms.
Yeah, whenever I'm looking for anybody, I always, I'll go and see if they have a website, but then I go to YouTube and Spotify are my two go-to, can I find anything about this artist? And I'm just trying to get me in the game. What can I find out about them? So I would say, don't put crap up on YouTube. Don't put stuff up on your socials that's just kind of funny to you. It's so eternal. We don't know what it means. We may be watching and going, is that a joke? Are they serious? Or are they, so it needs to fit your brand. This is about Grammy artist building. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly. And just to answer one of Moses's last question about finances, who's meant to fund all this? You are. You don't go out and try and be a hairdresser and, open a shop and have some scissors, one hair dryer split across 8 hairdressers, no mop to mop the hair off the floor. You have to pay rent. You have to have a brick and mortar. So the best way, I always use the hairdresser scenario, and I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's because you're a great hair, Michael.
No, perfect.
But you got to think of yourself as brick and mortar, right? You need to invest in you, and you need to wrap your head around that. What does that mean? Work a day job, save money, put it back into yourself? Absolutely. Seek investors? Absolutely. And to Moses's point, yes, if you get signed by a label, then sure, they're going to invest in you. They're also going to have the ability to control you and control that image brand building, which is sometimes great, is sometimes not. But I'll let Michael, you have a ton of experience here. So what is the best way for an artist to
Well, I I think I saw Moses had actually tried to run a GoFundMe page, and I went to that page, but had been taken down. I think the problem with even doing the GoFundMe probably didn't get enough reaction because Moses, nobody knows what your brand is. And I'm going to go pick that something Rick said, because you had those posts about food. If food is an important part or some kind of a chef piece of you, make more about that, and let the food be the thing people come find out about you, and let the music be almost a secondary bonus to people finding out who you are. But I would say right now, if you'd put up a GoFundMe page, it probably didn't have enough clarity on, is this an artist? Is this a chef? Is this a banker, to your point? Is this is this just a good homebody guy that loves to make music? It probably didn't make sense. And there probably wasn't enough music on there to make people go, oh yeah, I love this. I would love to get behind that. So once again, we're back to, you got to focus on what your brand is and display that even before you go to GoFundMe. Because I think people will support artists. They'll throw money at you if they like the music and they like your brand, if they like what your graphic, your brand, your title is.
Yeah. Spot on.
Yeah.
You guys,
I agree.
You good to move into Card Club?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, let me share my screen so you guys can see Card Club. All right. I think these guys have something cool going on. Biggest issue right up. It's a free site and it just looks cheap and cheesy. So be good to upgrade that baby as soon as you guys can. All right, Michael, I'll let you kick off Card Club.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I think you guys are so close musically. There's something so cool about your sound. You both are great musicians, great guitarist, great drummer. I think your photos here are graphically completely out of sync with the music I'm hearing. So I watched the video and it's okay to have kind of odd, you walk out to the tennis court, you lay down on the thing and play. That was cool, but it didn't fit the brand yet. And so the brand is kind of, you both wear the same kind of sunglasses, but I would say the music, right now, your brand, the photos are distracting from the music. To me, the music is actually better and you're so close. And it would, like in the first song, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the name, but the channel going to the chorus was too long. You needed to get to the hit chorus much faster. And the way we look together, that is song, has a killer beginning. It has a channel. I call it a channel before it gets to the chorus. And the channel's too long. And you kind of lose people on that. And so creating a hit song that people react to and respond to is the name of the game. And you guys are I think you're incredibly close. Then I would turn you over to Rick and go, you got to package these guys because they need your help on the graphic packaging side.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the funds are limited when you're starting out, and you've got a free website, which is it's $150 to upgrade that to a premium service on Wix. It's a small investment to have more of a professional outlook of things, and then you can also create SEO, search engine optimization, throughout that. I kind of like the photography for what you've guys done is like trying to be cool by being uncool almost. Like, I don't care, that sort of attitude. But yeah, I think it doesn't suit the music like Michael as such. But a lot of the photography too, you guys are so spread apart, and visually when you place it on a website, on your website, it's very far. I would like to see you guys closer and who's up front, whoever's up front, all the time, keep them at the front, and then the other one slightly back in the shadow. Because, we don't mix tracks all at the same volume. There's always highs and lows. And it's same as with when you see a band, the Rolling Stones, it's Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, always. Aerosmith, right. Stephen and Joe. So
yeah, there's a throwback to the vibe. The cool thing about it to me is it definitely has an 80s trip for me, and I'm just going, Todd, love this. But the 80s were really, go Flock of Seagulls or Level 42 or some of these great London bands that were kind of hot in the 80s, but they put a look to themselves. This feels more like I'm songwriters. You're just trying to be, I'll just be a songwriter, and you're not serious enough about the artist side. It's the way it would come across to me. But I'm telling you, you're close enough. And the fact you're in Nashville, I'm going, we need to find these guys here in Nashville, because this is very cool, hip music coming from Nashville and for the pop scene, I believe.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think I agree with Michael and Rick on the music / visuals. I get what you're trying to do with the visuals, and I think there is definitely something to work with. For me, again, I'm so big on the PR and the selling and the marketing. Card club. I'm like, okay, where are the cards? What club? What cards? Like, what are we doing? So from a branding standpoint, I would be playing around with that, and I know Rick would go 10 million miles even deeper into that. But I want to know why the name, and you might even tell us here. No, you don't. You just say it's a card club as a pop band formed in 2019. But it's such, do you know what I mean? It's such a unique name. It's not like you just got your names and meshed it together. It's such a unique name. I'd love to know where it come from, and the branding that can be done off that.
Oh, would be fabulous. Would be fabulous.
Oh my God! And to me, that is, to Michael's point, the 80s, like playing cards. Like, we're off social media didn't exist. None of that stuff existed. We're hanging out. We're drinking what we call poppers. You call them juice boxes. You're drinking juice boxes and playing cards, and there's just so much stuff that could be done. Merchandise, card prints on socks. You can have the club picture. You can have the ace. You can have all these stuff. Your fans could be called the Carders. I don't know. That's just
well, it's so funny that you kind of go that direction. I actually went more with a Marriott card or an American Express card. So I was actually going with a kind of a unique. I was going, okay, this could be kind of a credit card club that they have their own brand. So they literally create their own card, and you're part of the club. You join my fan club, and I'll give you one of our cards, and you carry with us, and it gives you a 10% discount at Best Buy or something like that. Some crazy thing.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So, I mean, I think we agree that, this is a really good example of it. Like, they've got all their handles, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. They've got all of their handles, Card Club, Card Club, Card Club. It's fantastic.
Which is good. Yeah, that's good.
So good. Just the Wix website, upgrade that baby. Stronger visuals, like, they're like easily 60% there, maybe even 70.
Yeah, they are so close to being such a cool retro brand new statement again that I'm very excited, and we'll be trying to figure out if they're playing here in Nashville sometime.
You have Michael Blanton saying that, Card Club.
Yeah, man, I got to go see these guys, see what they're doing.
Oh my God, like, that's massive. Well, that's awesome. Well, we're rounding up to the end of our branding for the Grammys. So to answer some more questions out there that were like, so what does this branding for the Grammys mean? Well, what it means is, obviously, Michael has had the privilege of managing acts and developing acts that have been nominated and won Grammys. And Rick and I had a wonderful experience with a band that we were managing in 2018 that won a Grammy. Shout out to the O'Connor Band featuring Mark O'Connor, amazing bluegrass Americana band. And the whole idea here is to brand yourself that damn well that you win a Grammy. I mean, you don't see any Grammy winners winning Grammys that aren't branded and that are not A-list. I mean, that's the highest you go. So that was the reason for the title, and obviously good timing with the Grammys. But we would welcome any more questions if you guys have any other questions about branding and the music business, and definitely follow myself and Rick at Dead Horse Branding, and we can follow Michael Blanton at Songwriting U. That's I should know this, Michael. Your Instagram handle, I know it's songwritinguniversity.com. but it should be, is it Songwriting You for Instagram?
I think it's just Michael Blanton. I can't remember on Instagram.
Blanton one? Okay.
Yeah, I believe that's right. And
you can Google
I'm just,
this man, and his everything will pop up for you, like his wiki page, you name it. So not hard.
Let me add this to your statement about the Grammy branding. Right now, labels are not going to sign you unless you build your brand. They're just not going to do it. They're waiting in the wings to see who can build their brand the strongest and get reaction. And the way you're going to get reaction is put it up on YouTube and Spotify. And if you start getting eyeballs watching and listening to your music, then labels are going to pay attention to you. But until you get to a place where your brand is concise and cool and infectious and people are responding to it, if they're not reacting, go back to the drawing board and redraw your brand and figure out what it is you need to be doing, and then go to work on that. So
that couldn't have been said any more perfect, Michael. I think, that's spot on. And one thing we know working with the labels is that's exactly what they're saying. And we are on that pitching side to labels of acts and developing them and getting all their streams up and getting all their press set, making sure socials are just kick ass. That's amazing. And then, labels will sometimes hire us because they have signed a super, super, super talented act that's super young, and they have the time and energy to kind of put into them over the next 3 to 5 years. But the first and foremost thing is the branding, and is where are they hitting, where are they positioned, and everything, is double time these days. It's double time. And Michael, do you remember how long like a label would give you to kind of release an album or a second album? Like what those rules were?
Well, used to be albums. Today, labels are actually putting out one song to see if they can get a reaction. You can bypass all that by doing it yourself. Put out your own song, put out your own brand, and get people to react to it. If they're not reacting, I can't say this enough. If people don't react to what you call your brand, it's not working. You just have to go back and start. Your song is not good enough. It sounds like a million other songs. Go find your brand, your song, your style, your statement, and see if people will react to it. People will find it. People love to discover new things that they believe in. And so I think tonight's been a great conversation about trying to become more concise, more focused on what are you really trying to tell people, and be great at that. So that's where I would leave it.
Amazing. It's amazing advice, Michael, and everyone that's out there. Really take that advice on board, because you don't get it any straighter, any stronger, and any more significant than from Michael Blanton himself. So thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Rick Caballo. Thanks for all your amazing branding insight. And we're so glad you're going to join us. And I'm sure we'll be back again at some stage with version 2.
Love to. Yeah, love to.
And join us for our meet and greet on Discord after this session. And that link and everything was posted in the comment section. So please check that out and come and say hi. Now, is the man Loic coming back in to say goodbye to everyone, or do we just peek out?
I was just waiting for you to call me, but I'm like, she's wrapping this up. It's perfect.
He fell asleep.
No,
well played.
Fall asleep. I'm just re-updating all my branding and taking all my cats and pizza picture down. Michael,
good man.
Yeah,
good man.
Michael
Good
is gonna
man.
be like, dude, you will never get a Grammy with your cats on a. I was betting on her. You ready to? All right, so you guys, Cherith, this is amazing. Cherith is dialing from Sri Lanka, so we have internet, and we had folks from Switzerland. So big, and I think we have people from Latin America. So we really had an international crowd tonight. So yeah, please join us on the Discord channel on the Emmy Lounge VC. Audio, video will be hanging there for a couple of minutes, meet and greet. And thank you very much for joining us today. Melissa, Michael, and Rick, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate all the tips. And yes, hopefully I think, Melissa, we're talking about maybe having you coming back in once a quarter. Is that it?
think that's
Me?
what we're looking at.
Yeah, we're looking at. So we're looking forward to.
Michael's in.
Michael is
Oh,
in too. But yeah, if we didn't get to, if you like this session, you have recommendation, we'd love to hear. If you want to submit, your stuff for feedback, you have maybe 3 months or 2 months to get ready to take that Wix.com out of your website and refresh it. But yeah, we'll be back. And otherwise, we hope to see you next Thursday with our special AMA with Maria Elisa Ayabe. It's going to be casual, it's going to be personal, it's going to be deep. If you're interested in the type of plugins she's using, you can join us, but we will have different type of conversation this time, something you've never seen before. And I'm really excited about it. We'll talk about her journey from Colombia to Nashville to Miami, working with some of the biggest stars such as Jennifer Lopez or Mary J. Blige, and and all the good things that
awesome.
she's doing for for the community. Her work with the Grammys and so on. So more talk about the Grammys. And on this, thank you very much, everyone, and see you on Discord.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.